This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is that time of year, Valentine's Day. No, it's the Samsung Galaxy S series flagship launch in February 2023. So I have the S23 Ultra here. As ever, you can get it as an S23 or an S23 Plus, or the Ultra, which is the largest, bestest, fanciest flagship model that they offer. So this isn't the first time I'm going to say this, because this has been a trend with smartphones the last couple of years as they get so incredibly capable and expensive and all that. But if you have an S22 Ultra, there's probably not a super lot of reason to upgrade here. This isn't like the old days where, wow, you know, exciting, huge changes every year. Not that so much. So save your money. That part's good. But there are improvements to talk about nonetheless, and we're going to look at it now. So it's the best and fanciest that Samsung has to offer, other than, well, folding phones, a whole nother exciting genre there of phone. We have a Super AMOLED 2X display, which is a 1440p resolution, very bright, very colorful, lovely display. No more very curved size, getting mildly curved, getting more towards the Samsung Galaxy Note design, which I think a lot of people appreciate. Easier to hold, and also if you're using the S Pen, for example, it's easier to write right out to the edges of the screen. Someday maybe we'll get a flat one, even though it will seem immense slab like the iPhone 14 Pro Max does. You can get it in 4 different colors, and they are matte glass, and it's a little bit grippier than usual, and they're very pretty colors. Samsung has 4 additional colors if you order direct from them. I don't know if they're glossy or not. So that expensive, slippery phone, right, you're going to want a case for it. And speaking of that, our sponsor for this review is ESR Cases. Now, I've done sponsorships for them before, and they send us a bunch of cases. I could use any case I want from any maker, and I actually like their cases, and I use them because they show the beauty of the phone. They're nice and clear looking, and now you can get this frosted black look too, and they stand up well. They last through the life of the phone. Affordable, reasonably priced cases, and now some more durable options too. The kickstand case here is a new design. They've always had the one that's the theater mode with the pop out metal bar. Now they have this ring case here, 15 to 85 degrees of motion, so you can prop up the phone, and it acts as a camera protector too. Very important with all the camera lenses on the back of this phone. And say you need something even more, there's the Shock Armor case, which protects front and back. And unlike so many mil-spec rugged cases that are really hard to get on and off the phone, this isn't that bad. Nice flexible rubber around the edges of the phone. And then they also make camera lens protectors as well. Nice, sturdy, added on. Be sure to check out the link in the description to check them out and save. And now back to our video. For $1,200 starting price, you get 8 gigs of RAM. If you spend more on a higher configured model, you can get 12 gigs of RAM. It's available at 256 gigabyte, 512 gigabyte, or 1 terabyte of storage. Long ago gone is the micro SD card slot, so no expandable storage here. You get Wi-Fi 6E, you get the latest Bluetooth on board, of course, NFC, all that sort of good stuff. And you also get 5G, both millimeter wave, that's the super fast 5G, and sub-6, which is the more common, reasonably fast, but not as super fast. That may vary by country though, because obviously if you're in a country where there is no millimeter wave, there's no point to offering it. So I don't know outside of the United States about that. But no matter where you are in the world, now you get the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor, no more Exynos. So that typically means a little bit better performance and better battery life with the Snapdragon, and this year that is one of the improvements. Though I've often said, do you really feel like you need more processing power in your phone because they're so fast? It is noticeably faster here. It benchmarks faster, but it feels faster. And since games are becoming more demanding, for example, in computational photography, it makes for a smoother experience, and it's noticeable. With less heat, too. The back doesn't get as, oh my goodness, hot if you're doing something like playing a 3D racing game. And every year, if they're not going to be able to tweak anything else, they can always think of improving the camera. And now that very few people actually own standalone cameras because we rely on our phones, I suppose that's a good thing to do. So the main sensor is now a 200 megapixel ISO camera. So it does pixel binning down to 12 megapixels. And no, that's not a bad thing. I mean, all high resolution camera sensors are doing the same thing now. So that means more data. Sample all the pixels and then put the best ones in there, make yourself a nice picture. Also, that improves night photography too, because they have more data to work with to render a nice shot. You can, however, choose to shoot in a higher resolution mode. And if you know you're going to have to crop in heavily afterwards to a small detail in that photo, then that can make sense. You can also shoot in RAW mode if you want to shoot in RAW mode. What does this mean for the image quality? It's better. I wouldn't say it's wow better though. It's incrementally better. Better technology behind it and all that sort of stuff, but it's an improvement. As ever, it's a Samsung, so you're going to get a little amped on the color saturation, a little lower on the contrast compared to the iPhone, and a little bit less naturalistic than the Pixel 7 Pro, which goes for the most DSLR-like image. Though we have all new sensors this year, some of the specs are quite similar. We have a 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera. It's equivalent to 0.6 zoom versus 1x for the main camera, and we have the 2 telephoto lenses, and honestly the telephoto lenses to me are still the biggest selling point of the Ultra, because you get a 3x and a 10x zoom camera, optical. Those have OIS, important when you're zooming, particularly, as does the main camera, but not the ultra wide. So you've got, of course, interpolated zoom up 30x and then 100x space zoom. 100x usually not very useful unless you try to spy on somebody or something like that, but the 30x can sometimes make usable shots. Not the kind you're going to print to 8x10 size or something like that, but something that is good enough to share. So when you look at any other competitor on the market, you're not going to see that level of optical zoom and occasionally actually usable 30x. And that is nice. If you're going to the zoo and you want to catch the animals, obviously you're going to be in a distance at all times from the animals. That's quite nice. If you're doing architectural photography and you want to zoom in on some architectural detail of a building, if you see a cute puppy down the street, you know, all those use cases there where it makes you feel more like you have an actual real dedicated camera instead of something that you can only zoom with your feet with for the most part. And as ever, I would say that Samsung actually has the best portrait mode in terms of things like not clipping hair so much. And whenever it's trying to separate a person from the background, it does a better job of not making those little mistakes that we'll still see in competing phones. Much as I love the Pixel 7 Pro's camera, and again, its naturalistic look, it's not as good as the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra is at that. So many people say the iPhone shoots the best video, and Samsung really wanted to jump on that and attack it. And the pixel binning and other features can help with that. I'm not sure that they're completely there yet for naturalistic, balanced exposure, not over HDRing in certain things, but you get very sharp, very stable video. And the hyperlapse is really fun, and the slow motion quality is actually very good. I mean, they may have the best slow motion that I've seen. You can shoot 4K video, and you can even shoot 8K video if you want, though for most of us that's not the most useful feature in the world. We'll stick to 4K video. It's good enough, and again, the pixel binning does help with that, and it's a bit better in night mode. I mean, compared to many phones on the market, it's superb, don't get me wrong there, but we all have to nitpick with competing models and all that sort of thing. And Pixel 2 tried to focus on video quality to bring up that game too, but I think Samsung is ahead of them for video still. As ever, the phone is IP68 water resistant, and it has Gorilla Glass Victus 2, the latest version of Gorilla Glass. Again, more useful for avoiding cracking and not scratching. And we have the S Pen. Another thing, I mean, this is your original kitchen sink phone. You've got it all here. So you've got these excellent cameras with wild zoom ranges. You've got a huge AMOLED display, and you've got the S Pen, which is one of my favorites still. So it's fantastic for pocket notes, especially now that the screen's curved a little bit less too, less awkward. It's Wacom EMR technology, and also it's great for pocket art if you don't mind sketching small, that is. Now it still is a slippery screen, but when you're trying to write with a pen and do artwork with a pen, but it's nice to have this, right? And hardly any other competing phone does. So if that appeals to you, guess which phone you're going to be getting, right? Battery life, 5,000 milliamp battery, same charging standards. Qi wireless charging, 15 watt. We've got 45 watt wired fast charging. That has not gotten any faster. Now that OnePlus is going to the stratosphere with charging speeds, I'd like to see Samsung take chances again. Ever since they had the Note that caught fire, the battery, it seems like they're like a little gun shy of super fast charging or generating too much heat. Anyway. 5,000 milliamps is good. It's not any better than last year's capacity, but the new Snapdragon processor is a bit more power efficient, and they say the display is. And the Ultra has always been a comfortable phone, not unlike the iPhone 14 Pro Max with that huge battery capacity there. So I have no trouble getting through a day of heavy use with this phone. And I mean, if you're GPSing and gaming all day, in addition to doing things like shooting a lot of photos and 4K video like I do, you might kill it sooner, but for most people, it's going to be the bee's knees. And it's big and heavy and has a huge battery. It should be, right? So that's the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra for 2023. Look how that lines up. They must have worked on that, right? So yes, it is one of the best Android phones on the market, if not the best among non-folding phones. And it's priced as such as well. So, you know, it's up to you if you want to spend that kind of money. The Pixel 7 Pro is less expensive if you don't want to spend that kind of money. OnePlus is getting back into being the more affordable flagship killer with their pricing. But all in all, I mean, it's hard to beat this, and they're pretty sturdy, reliable phones. So at least if you're spending that much money, you know you've got 3-4 years of life in this thing, as long as you don't get the itch to upgrade sooner. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more cool tech videos, and thumbs up if you like this vid.